here. Sorry for my delay. Yeah, today was a crazy day again. I already scheduled it a little bit at the time that I thought was going to work, but in any case, let's give a few seconds for people to join. Oh, what some crazy days in the market. I was actually tempted to go live yesterday, or to actually make a video yesterday, but I thought I'm just gonna sit on my hands and enjoy the fun, because I'm predicting that people are gonna go crazy, and that's exactly what happened. So quite the interesting event. I see that a person has joined. Let me know if you can hear me well in the chat. That would be great. That would be really, really appreciated. What a crazy few days I've been having as of late. A lot of work. Then you have to be kind of a family man as well. Let me know, once again, guys, let me know if you can hear me. That would be actually very helpful for me to know. Not sure if I can see the chat here. Loud and clear. Okay, I see here Crypto Warrior 82. I see that 3 people have joined. I know that about 11 people were waiting on the other room. Sorry once again, guys, for my delay. But this week has been, these past couple of weeks has been really, really crazy. So I apologize for that. I tried to actually change the live, but it was taking me longer than actually just create a new one. So I hope you guys can join, and that's it. I'll focus on Inferno launch. No, very good. Permanent investing. So let's kick start it. We have 5 people here. I hope others can join in the meantime. So we've been seeing yesterday, of course, so we had throughout Sunday evening, we had the news coming from China. Everybody's aware of the AI development. Is it as good as promised? I don't know. I think probably yes. I think for the world is actually a good thing. If they manage to do something with AI at 3% of the cost, it's great for all of us. I mean, even for crypto. I mean, when the crypto market sold off, and I have to say I disagreed a little bit with my friend Somi, in the sense that he was comparing or drawing a parallel that the Chinese government was trying to basically cancel the bull market again. Now, I get the point, because in 2021, it was really canceled by Crypto7. Thank you very much. Oh, Sheridan X. Thank you. It actually made sense in the parallel to a degree, which is, of course, in 2021, China banned crypto directly. It caused the 55% or 50% sell-off in Bitcoin, which was the largest we've ever seen during a bull market. So that part I completely agree. On the AI development, I have a little bit more trouble to draw the parallel, because I understand, of course, I get it, which is it creates sell-off, which delays, and I agree to the point of, okay, we're not going to have a massive crypto bull market with the Nasdaq falling 20% at the same time, or the S&P 500. But I thought it was actually a little bit overplayed in terms of how bad it was on the downside. Now, crypto is completely annihilated, and I was laughing through the night because I knew that the reason for it was the only market open. So the markets price in perfection, and when they price in perfection, if something changes that scenario, you need to have a big adjustment. What gets adjusted? Well, basically the thing that you can sell at the moment. So people start thinking, oh my God, so this AI development now makes NVIDIA look like crap and other AI players. This week we have tech earnings. We have the FOMC from the Fed. This is crazy. This is terrible. Let me sell right now and let me weather the storm, and then let me make my decision. I thought that the AI development in China had nothing to do with crypto. However, I do understand that people sell what they can. It's a little bit also with gold. You see the same thing. So, for example, when you have a very big market crash, I will reply. I think I've seen how low could Shiba Inu drop. I mean, it's anybody's guess. But it has a strong community, so I think with Ethereum recovering, I think it will recover as well. What to expect from the FOMC tomorrow, blah blah blah. So we will deal with it in a little second. So I think people sell what they can. So for example, if you look at the financial crisis back in 2008, when things really started to turn sour, gold sold off like 30% in 30 days, something like that. But after a while, gold recovered, and actually by 2011 was making very strong new all-time highs. Why were people selling gold so aggressively during that time period? Because gold should be primed for a scenario like that. Because people, when they are getting margin calls everywhere, when they're getting destroyed in terms of leverage, when they are panicking, they sell what they can. They don't sell what they want, they sell what they can. Very important distinction. Most people miss this. And you could see also there's a lot of activity on chain this time around, in which exchanges were basically causing indirectly a lot of leveraged longs to be liquidated. You see, I've told you this many times before. This is the part of the cycle where things are much more dangerous, because people that should have been buying Bitcoin at 15 and 20K, they didn't. Most likely they made fun of all their friends who were buying Bitcoin. So now they need to make up for lost ground. And the only way they can do it is with leverage. 20x leverage, 10 times leverage. You see, if you're 10 times leveraged, if the whole thing drops 10%, you're liquidated. You're out. So you get destroyed. And exchanges know where the values are, because they offer products like that. So they will allow, indirectly, that the prices get to a certain point where you get deleveraged. They get basically, you kill the people who open leverages, and then the market can resume the results that you were expecting. But first of all, let's go a little bit back. You know, guys, that I always jump around a little bit. This past week, 2 weeks have been completely crazy. I mean, I've been driving 900, 600, 700 miles in a day. I mean, completely crazy. But good crazy, good client-related stuff, not garbage stuff. So TLT, I was very happy yesterday. When I'm watching the market, the first thing that I go is, okay, I want to see the bond market, and I want to see the dollar. You guys know that I've mentioned here during my predictions, my 12 months of predictions, my 12 predictions for 2025. One of the things that I said is that the DXY, the dollar versus the other currencies, will finish the year below 98. And the DXY was telling me basically that we're going to hit 110, and that's it. That's all she wrote. And so far, we hit 110, and we've been down ever since. So what I see is the dollar going down, the bond market going up, partially for two reasons. Number one, fear trade. You get out of risk assets, you go to risk off assets. Number two is anticipation that, if such a massive industry as important as AI starts having some issues, the Fed will crank up the prices to help that industry succeed. I think people have been exaggerating quite a bit, because the majority of the companies involved in AI are actually very strong companies. And the issue is that people keep making these comparisons to the dot-coms. You see, the dot-coms, you need to understand, most of the companies during that time, you're talking about companies burning $2 billion, and at the time, $1 billion meant a lot of money. They're burning $2 billion a year, no revenues, just PowerPoint presentations, really. You would turn any company with no relationship with the internet whatsoever, you just call it .com, you go public, and the thing would go up tenfold. I mean, nowadays, the biggest involved companies in AI, you're talking about the Googles, the Amazons, the Microsofts. I mean, you're talking about very robust companies, even without the AI part of it. So they're investing quite a bit on the AI portion of their business, but it's not like their business is complete garbage, if you see what I mean. So I think it was a little bit overreacted. I mean, AI is going to be a new industry. It's going to be a race to the bottom in terms of prices. It's always been like this in new industries. Who benefits from this? Me and you. So if it's true that China managed to achieve that, that's good for us, because that means it will force OpenAI, which is anything but open, by the way, to be better. Who's going to benefit at the end of the day? Me and you. In the short term, can it affect expectations around US stocks? Sure. Why? Because stocks are priced for perfection. But we know that the most important thing for stocks is currency debasement. Liquidity increases. That's what matters the most. All the rest is kind of noise. So for example, I'll give you this example. If you look at the average earnings of the S&P 500, I think they are up something like between 50 and 75% versus 2009. 50 to 75%. However, the price is up sevenfold, 700%. How is this possible? Well, most people say, oh, it's a bubble. Yeah, but you're not paying attention, are you? M2 money supply is increasing by the same amount the S&P is increasing. So what you're doing is you're taking value out of your currency, and the assets priced in that currency go up in the same amount. The best example that I can give you, and I always give this example because I think it makes very, very good sense, is this. If you ask someone, how many bear markets did Bitcoin have? Most people will say 3 or 4, depends on really when you want to start counting, but 3 or 4. And the correct answer is not neither 3, neither 4. The correct answer is it depends. In US dollar, you had 3 or 4. In Argentinian peso, you had 0. Because the peso loses more value than the Bitcoin bear market. So Bitcoin in the bear market goes down 85%, yeah, but the peso goes down 90%. So Bitcoin goes up 5%. So the same thing is happening with the stronger currencies. The pound is probably the weakest here, but the euro, the dollar, the yen, the Swiss franc is probably, if not the best, the second best. But they're all losing value versus assets. That's all that's happening, and that is not changing. And the reason why it's not changing is liquidity will need to be created, and very aggressively, either via one side or the other, particularly if Trump is serious about cutting all those taxes, about getting rid of the income tax and all of this kind of stuff. If he's serious about it, then you need to create a lot of liquidity, which means, and it doesn't need to be QE, by the way. Liquidity will come soon and change tomorrow. Yes, it's likely that the Fed keeps the rates unchanged tomorrow, but you need to understand liquidity is coming regardless of what the Fed does. Why? Simple reason, very simple. Liquidity is created on two fronts. Number one, the Fed. Money printing, QE, cutting interest rates, you know the drill. With the banks in the middle as intermediaries of liquidity, otherwise you have runaway CPI style of inflation. The other option is deficit spending. So while all the other people, the economists and all these people back in 2023 were predicting the stock market crash, and the stocks were about to crash, and this was about to crash, and everything's going to drop, to blah, 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 all this kind of stuff, I said before Q1 2024, at the time, this was 2023, we're going to have new all-time highs in the US stock market, except the Russell 2000, I said. And the reason for it was very simple. Yes, interest rates are very high, but the budget deficits are exploding. If they cut the income tax out, or if they keep the rates unchanged, the deficits will balloon, which means the Treasury will create liquidity by issuing more debt. That's it. You have two ways out of this. Either you outgrow the debt so much that things don't matter anymore. Let's say with AI, you triple the GDP in 5 years. Does the debt matter anymore? Probably not. That's option one. Option two is you cut government spending so much that you start progressively reducing liquidity in the markets as you keep rates high. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Because, and why don't I think so? Look at the four largest budget items in the US government. Number one, Medicare or Medicaid, one of the two. I always confuse which one. Are you telling me that the US government's going to cut Medicare? Really? Number 2, Social Security. Is the US president going to cut Social Security? Really? Number 3, interest expense. Well, everybody would be happy if that came to zero. So it's very politically viable to do so. Number 4 is military. I would say about half the country would like to see military get chopped in half. But you're talking about 500 billion, which in the scheme of, $4 trillion in deficit, who cares about 500 billion is like an eighth of the deficit, so it doesn't really matter. So the interest rate expense, and this is very important. In 12 months, the interest rate expense will no longer be number 3, it will be the number 1 item. Now, interest rates influence mortgage rates, which means people cannot buy houses. It influences credit card debts. It influences student loan debts. It influences personal loan debt. So it's very politically expedient, very nice to get rid of those high interest rates. And people will say, oh, but that's going to create inflation. My God, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be terrible. I say, really? We've had 0% rates for 30 years in Japan with average inflation of 0. China has been printing money nonstop. They're fighting deflation. Europe had negative rates for like 10 years, and their average inflation was 1.1%. And the US had basically the Fed's balance sheet went up tenfold, and the average inflation was 1.6%, which is very low for US standards. So no, it won't create inflation. So it's a matter of, there are two options here. Either the Fed lowers rates and prints money and buys bonds and creates liquidity, but they won't call it QE. Forget about it. Everybody knows QE now has a negative connotation. They will call it something different. They will call it discount windows. They will call it Operation Freedom. They will call it Operation Home Affordability. I mean, whatever is going to sound nice to the audience. And it will be nothing else than QE with a different name. Until that thing gets a bad name, so then they change again. They call it, I think, in the past. I think it was you remember, 2018, when we had the bear market in crypto, and also the Fed has been increasing rates back in 2018, and then basically Q4 was really bad for stocks, crypto in general, right? And all of a sudden, I think it was the Fed came with the Operation Twist. They call it Operation Twist. What was Operation Twist? QE. That's it. They come up with a bullshit reason, and they just go back to the old playbook and keep printing the money again. If I look at the charts, and Roll Paul has looked at this very, very nicely. This chart of so far looks identical to the previous bull markets. Like literally identical. The only thing that is really underperforming at this stage, at the moment, is really Ethereum. Other than that, it's pretty much identical. People are stressed out with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up 10% on the year. It's the best performing asset. It's twice as much as gold. It's 5 times as much as stocks, or 4 times as much as stocks. And everybody is losing their mind. That's why I was laughing so hard when the news came out and I saw like cryptos down 10, 15%, 20%. I'm laughing because, first of all, I accumulated quite a bit during that time period. But I was laughing because people shouldn't be getting these nice deals at the moment, in my view, because they were not here in the trenches. So they're getting all these freebies, and they don't realize the freebies they're getting. The amount, I go on Twitter or on X, and the amount of, my God, of negative news, the bear market is here, that guy, I forgot his name, was, Bitcoin is $73,000 tomorrow, something like this. The bear market is here, no altcoin seasons, we're finished, blah, blah. You need to understand something. Influencers were planning to sell, they said, to their audiences, the Ivan on Text, the Discover Cryptos, the Crypto Banters, all of these people. They were saying, oh yeah, by May, I'm out. By May, April, May, I'm out, which means they're selling now, January. Because they're not going to wait for their following to get to May and copy them. So they will do it now. So this is the first cycle that I've seen in which people are basically, they were all looking to sell in Q1. So what happens? Their idea was this: I'm going to hold December, January, I'm going to get my nice 10, 15x, and I'm going to start unloading on people in the first quarter is going to be great. Because we know December is very good, and then Q1 of the real bull market year is great, which is true, but not every single month. January tends to be the weakest, and then February tends to be the best, and March tends to be also very, very good. And then it depends a little bit, because we call it 4-year cycle, but the cycle is actually 3 years and 10 months. It's not really 4 years. This is why the top was in December 17, and the last time was November 21, and this time will probably be October. See the point? Like, it's getting back and back a little bit. It's because the cycle is not exactly 4 years. We say 4 years, but that's why my prediction, you guys know my prediction, the final top for Bitcoin. And hey Ron, hey guys, I will look at the questions a little bit later. So basically the Bitcoin top, I think, is going to be late September, early October, most likely around the 3 dates that I'm looking in particular attention is 27 September, 6th of October, and 20th of October. Particularly 6th of October is, to me, the one to look. Let's see what happens during that day. I think it has good potential for some fireworks. We'll see. But I'm waiting for something so bullish to convince everybody else that the 4-year cycle is finished. That this time is different. There's no way we're not going to... the same way, like in November 2021, for example, people were saying, because we sold off so aggressively during the summer, people said, short bear market. And the bear market is over. Yeah, of course. The only way that you're going to get people buying is if they get convinced that it's going to keep going up. It's the only way. The argument in 2017 was with Bitcoin futures, the ETFs will come out, and did 17 at a double top a little bit, yeah. But particularly Q4 was extremely strong. I think I've said this, guys, you've been following me for quite some time now. I've said this since like July 2024. I said, if he wins, I think we're going to get a 2017 style of cycle. If she wins, I think we're going to get a 2021 style of cycle. And that's what I said. I've never changed Then people start to catch up on that, but I've been saying this for months, even when he was not favored to win. I always said the same thing. And so far, I haven't seen anything that really surprises me. So if you look at, for example, ETH versus BTC, which is a very famous chart, and you should look at it. Usually, Ethereum goes down, or went down, up until second half of 2017 versus Bitcoin, not versus the dollar, versus Bitcoin. And then between second half of 17 and first quarter of 18, Ethereum, and first month of 2018, destroys Bitcoin. Then Bitcoin overperforms between 2018 and 2020. And then 2021, Ethereum kills it. And now, 2022 to 2024, Bitcoin has outperformed Ethereum. And now we're going to see in 2025 if Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin. I think so. Larry Fink from BlackRock is buying Ethereum. If BlackRock was a country, its GDP would be $15 trillion, which means that it would put it at country number 3 in the world after China and the US. So Larry Fink is buying it. Trump is buying it. And the price action of Ethereum looks a lot to me like that time period that we had when Bitcoin was having these weird price structures, and then we came out to find that BlackRock was accumulating like crazy with OTC deals and all of that kind of stuff before the big pump. If Ethereum does what it has done in the previous years, then starting February, it should start to go up like very clearly. Not every single day, but the trend should be very, very clear. And usually what happens to Ethereum is that it plays catch up in very short time spans. So basically everybody is kind of doubting stuff, is this going to work out? Well, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden Ethereum pumps 45% or something. And people get, oh my God, what happened? And then everybody piles in, Ethereum is back. My God, everybody believes in it. Ray Nuna from Crypto Banter comes out and says, I've never doubted Ethereum. I've always been all in. I was joking. It was my twin brother that sold Ethereum. Oh, Solana, what is that? I don't even know that coin. Like all this kind of stuff, and then everybody piles in on one side of the trade. That's my feeling of what's going to happen. I've never seen so much hatred towards Ethereum as I've seen this cycle, and I've never seen such praise for certain coins like I've seen this cycle. Usually, this kind of stuff doesn't bode well for the majority. Maybe this time is different and the majority will be right. Yeah, I don't think so, but maybe it's going to be right. Who knows? So most importantly at the moment is we need that bond market to stabilize and to keep creeping higher, the dollar to keep selling down a little bit. You don't want moves of 2 and 2.5% up or down. You want stuff slowly but surely, give that confidence to the markets, and then the equities will follow. I mean, I'll just put you this into perspective, okay, guys? Because there's so much noise in the markets nowadays that people get lost in this. If you check the performance of the Dow Jones, S&P, and the Nasdaq, year to date, meaning January 1st to today, which means basically the entirety of the month of January, although we are waiting some nice volatile days with the earnings and the FOMC. If we had months in the stock market like we are having these first 28 days of the month, we would have another 20+% year in stocks, which by historical standards is great. So this is the level of, I don't know, PTSD, fear, corn. I think you can get it that the first letter of that word was not a C, but rather a P. That throws everybody. I mean, me, Kevin, is already with a background on fire. Everything is going down. Everything is finished. This is him in the morning. In the afternoon, because the charts are green, the return of the US. This is it. We're gonna ran over China. China is nothing again. And then tomorrow morning is, if it's red, oh my God, sell everything. I sold everything. I'm shorting the market. Then in the afternoon is all in, leverage 10x. And these are the people on YouTube. If you follow any of these guys, first of all, you're going to get a heart attack by the age of 30. And secondly, you're going to get destroyed. Because even if he's doing all those moves, you see, if he's doing all those moves, which I seriously doubt he is, he gets paid with his courses and with YouTube revenue, and in the past with BlockFi and FTX sponsorships as well. Very nice payups. His followers don't get anything. You see, that's the tragic story of all of this. But in any case, it's just so funny that if I recall 2016, when Trump came into office, what happened? The dollar was very strong, interest rates were creeping higher, and everybody was expecting high inflation because of the tariffs. What did we get? An average inflation of 1.1% with Trump. The dollar went from 105.6 to 92, 93. Interest rates kept going a little bit higher. We got stock market all-time highs. We got the best season in crypto of all time. And people were expecting a lot of armed conflicts across the planet, zero. So basically, and now they are all expecting the same things. It's just so funny that they forgot that 2016 was 8 years ago. So, and as you know, news only carry any weight for about 2 hours in today's world. So maybe that's it. Now, when it comes to crypto going forward, I think February and March will be very good months. Regarding the Fed, I think somebody asked me this a little while ago. What do I think is going to happen in the FOMC? The Fed has not been historically very keen. Not going to be very keen. Yeah, try to be 65. No, what I'm saying is, if you listen to me, Kevin, you're gonna have a heart attack, because in the morning everything is bad, in the afternoon everything is good. In the morning is all in a stock, in the afternoon is shorting a stock. I mean, it's complete craziness. So what what I think is going to happen, I think February and March will be very good months. Then, I mean, I've said this before. I think somewhere between mid-March to mid-April, the big sell-off is a local top will happen. I think in that local top, which also coincides with U.S. tax season, I think we will have a bit of sell-offs and the slowing off period throughout part of the summer. And I think, let's call it second half of July, first half of August, somewhere around that mark, we start going up again, and then something dramatically good happens. We have a crazy moves to the upside. Bitcoin probably tops somewhere in October, sells off to November, comes back in November to try and make a new all-time high, but fails. That is called the complacency rally, and then we just go down. And when it comes to altcoins, you count 3 to 4 weeks in front of Bitcoin, and you get your altcoin movements. What you need right now, and I was talking about this a while ago, is because all the influencers were talking about selling. And this is the cycle where I've seen people saying, I just want this cycle to be over. I can't wait to sell. I can't wait to sell, which is very weird. This is never like this. Like usually if you go, I'm never selling again. This time is different. This time it's going to go to the moon. But this is what happens when a lot of people got screwed in 2021. So you need to understand, like, people are carrying these bags since 2020. We are in 2025, these 5 years. And unfortunately, people think that the bull market means green every single day and 10% per day, and that's it, and never see red again. And no, some of the most vicious moves down happen in the euphoric year of the bull market because people are trying to guess the tops. But in this case, what I think is also happening is a lot of people wanted to sell crypto in the first quarter, and then they see the sell-off that starts in thank you very much, Cindy. Let's go Mexicans indeed. By the way, please guys, you know this, no need to send me super chats. I actively encourage you not to do it, to use that money to invest in yourselves. I really appreciate the gesture, don't get me wrong. I mean, but maybe consider doing it like $1 or something, just for a nice thing, or $2 if you really want to do it. But I really don't encourage you to do it. I actually have monetization activated because it seems to spread my videos a little bit better. But I actually didn't even, and the Crypto 7 is here, so he knows what I'm talking about. I never given my details to YouTube in order for me to actually get paychecks in my account, because I promised not to do it until most likely never, maximum I would say in the bear market or something. And I have something like $600 there or something like that, give or take $600, $700. And I will probably then, if I ever touch that money, I will probably just donate it to charity, and I will come here and I will show you. I'll bring a piece of paper and you'll see to the charity that I've given, so there's no confusion about it. But going back, so this is how I think the cycle will play out. I think I heard Sami saying this, and I agree with him completely. I think the first altcoin season will be subdued because a lot of people want to sell. People are desperate to sell. And then they will probably take the summer, as we have that sell-off. They will be walking around saying how smart they are for selling. And then you have something happening, and you have a real boom by late Q3, early Q4, and they all rush in to buy, and they buy our bags. That's my feeling, but I will still de-risk somewhere around late March, April. Probably I will de-risk more the coins that have done the best, as you could expect. When it comes to Pulse Chain and the Richard Art ecosystem, so we are waiting for the decision on the judge on the SEC case. It seems that it's going to be dismissed. That seems to be the most likely scenario. However, this is the type of things that we need a confirmation. Why? If you're a big investor with tens of millions of dollars, why would you take a shot at an ecosystem being targeted by the SEC so aggressively, and also with the founder being targeted by Interpol, if you can just buy something who's not being under that level of scrutiny? You need to understand, don't take these investors in the wrong way. They don't know. why certain cryptos are better than others. They don't like, no, what they want is something that performs well. And these people come from the stock market. So if you have something like Bitcoin that performs 100% in a year, or Ethereum that can go up 200% in a year, they are used to like 10% in the stock market. So you're talking 20 years in a year for them. They won't take the risk with something that is under scrutiny. However, if that something beats the SEC, and basically we can cross out that level of uncertainty, now it becomes more appealing to be invested in that product because you already know they've already been tried out with the SEC and they already won, so they're already out. They're already away from it. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP at the moment, I mean, although the SEC is still considering to go back and try to get something with XRP, are the only ones that do I think announcing BTC reserve will be the top? There's a good shot it will be. It will all depend when they start buying. But yes. So for example, if they say something like this, reserve announced August 15, whatever. We're gonna start buying Bitcoin 1st of October. I think the day they start buying is the day we get to top. That's my feeling. And it makes perfect sense because at that moment, nobody can understand or even conceptualize how can crypto ever go down again. So it will. It's really that simple. It's the same thing with the bear market. The bottom of the bear market is when you have fear of contagion in multiple exchanges. Is when you see, oh my God, this is going to be regulated out of existence. Probably it's going to be banned in the US, like all this kind of stuff. And they're going to throw all these kind of scenarios, and you get the feeling when you're looking at the bottom of the bear market. I remember this week very, very well. I was looking at it and I said, oh my God, I need to buy crypto now because I don't see any way that crypto is going to go up in the near future. I mean, this is all terrible. This is all negative. I don't see anything positive here. How can this recover? China already banned them. What if the US bans them? Now it's the two largest economies banning it. Like, you have all this kind of stuff. And what I've done is, okay, I'm going to be disciplined. I have zero will to buy any crypto at all. And when I saw that happening at that time, I bought it. Now, I'm not going to come here and pretend that I bought the exact day of the bottom, which I didn't, but I bought around the vicinity, very close by. I've told you this many times before. The bear market is the easiest thing to do. It is the most uncomfortable. It's the time of the year where you feel the most stupid, but it's the easiest. Because virtually, if you count 8, so you look at the chart, and you are in the year of the bear market, and you count 8 red candles. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you start acquiring Bitcoin, any time of that week or that month, in a few months' time, the price is way above that. So it's very easy. You don't need to really time anything. While when you are in the bull market, you say, yeah, I'm going to sell this crypto tomorrow. And you wake up tomorrow, it's down 50%, and the top is in. And now you can still sell, but then your mind starts playing tricks. Oh my God, this is going to recover. But as soon as it recovers, I'm going to sell. And then you keep waiting for it to recover, and it retraces like half of the 50% down. It retraces 25% up, and it drops. And now you're down 65%. And all of a sudden, the coin that you had $4 million, you end up selling it for 200K. Now, don't get me wrong, 200K is great, but you're going to think 4 million, with a little bit of, if I was careful with my money, I could probably, if not retire from 4 million, get damn near close to it. And that's why bull markets are much harder, particularly the euphoria part of the year, because it's two things playing out. First, the moves to the downside are much more aggressive, so you're always second guessing yourself. Is this the top? Is this the top? Is this the top? And number two, you don't see the top. You don't see how can you be in the top. It makes no sense. How can this be the top? look at what's happening. Look, now these guys have announced this and those guys have announced that. Yes, when you have trouble finding any single article on one given day or one given week that is negative about crypto, that's it. The same way that when you have trouble finding anything positive about crypto for a week, that's it. That's your bottom. But it's very tough. It's very difficult to deal with. Now, the sell-offs that you've seen recently, these are the type of things that you would see if you were not in the bull market. These things would take weeks to recover and stuff like that. But in the bull market where we are now, these things take maybe 12 hours, 14 hours, 2 days, I mean, who knows, something like that. So in my view, in summary, I do think the cycle is still playing out. The only thing that is really underperforming is Ethereum, so I hope it catches up. I mean, if I look at 2017, it was really February and March that we really made the biggest gains. So let's see if that repeats. When it comes to RH ecosystems, we are looking for that decision. I think it will pop. That ecosystem will pop after Ethereum pops. And when it goes up, I think it will go up quite a bit. So as you guys know, my main coins are Pulse, PulseX, Hedron, ICOS, and X, both on Ethereum and on Pulse chain. And then lottery tickets, I have 7G from Crypto7, Pulse Spot, Pulse Launch, PDI. I think I have PDI for it was not even a penny at the time. It's actually one of my best performers. And of course, I love the narrative of pegging to the dollar. If that happens, I'm going to turn something like $800 into $80,000. No, more than that, actually. $85,000, something like that. So yes, please peg to a dollar. It would be very good. I'll be very happy if that happens. Then I'm also with Matt Fury narratives, as you guys know, Hoppy, Boppy, Andy, all on Ethereum. Why on Ethereum? Because Ethereum has been underperforming, and these coins have already done incredibly well despite the underperformance of Ethereum. Then I have a bit of a dick butt on base. And do I have anything else? I don't think so. No, Raf, I don't have any of those narratives, and I'll tell you why. I think there's going to be a narrative that's going to pop up later in the cycle. I don't know what's going to be, but I think it's going to pop up, and I think it's going to be the strongest one, NFT style, basically. Not NFTs, the narrative. I'm talking something like NFTs, in which in September there was nothing, and then all of a sudden in October and late September and October 2021 is all about NFTs. So I'm getting a little bit of dry powder for whatever that narrative is going to be. I don't know what's going to be. Regarding AI, RWAs, etc. Look, you have several narratives that go on. What I've done is I tried to find, so for example, Boppy now, that has dropped to something like 600K market cap or 500K market cap. As you guys know, I went on that one at 550. What is the narrative of that one? That is part of the Night Riders, which is the part of Hoppy, in which Mike, what do you mean? Wait, I lost a little bit the comment there. I've said a few predictions. I read your, sorry, but let me finish the other one. So they are basically part of the Night Riders narrative, which is a subsegment of Matt Fury's. They all are driven by Peppy. Peppy is the key. And they all then move, let's say, in subsegments with each other. What I tried to do was to find communities in which coins went down like 90%, and the community still grew, and they were still there, still very strong, still posting, and they were cheap. And I was okay with the volatility. I was okay with it, and I lived well with it. And so far, on Andy and Doppy, I've been successful. On Boppy, I've been pretty much break-even, but there was a point where I was very successful. And I think that narrative will pick up later as well. Once again, now these things don't move all at once at the same time. It's very important to understand that. There's going to be a time, yes, there is a time in which everything goes up. That lasts about 50 days. Yeah, by 50 days in 4 years, it's not that much. Now, is it? Now, in terms of my predictions, as I've said before, in my 12 predictions for 2025, I will repeat it again in case it's not clear. The top 4 are by far the most important. If I get that, I've said this is like the 4th time I'm going to say, but I guess sometimes it's difficult to understand this. The top 4 are by far the most important. What does that mean? If I get the top 4 correct, or even 75% correct, which means 3 out of 4, and all the others wrong, I'm going to be a very happy man. If I get the bottom 8 correct, but I get the top 4 wrong, I'm going to be a very sad man. So the top 4 are by far my crucial focus. The bottom 8 are by far just more for fun. Like I've said this many times before. Now, what I've said is my top 4. Bitcoin to finish the cycle somewhere around 242 to 276, and Ethereum to finish the cycle somewhere between 25 to 29,000. I don't think we are at the end of the cycle, so I don't see how this prediction has been wrong. If this is better than what I expect, great. I've always mentioned this, even if I exit crypto. So let's say I think we are in October and I think the top is in. Let's say I start de-risking a little bit more aggressively. I've said this before, I will leave 15 to 20% always in crypto. The moon bags, if you will. If the cycle continues and we go to 300K, 400K, 500K, the best for me, because my last 15-20% will go up tenfold again. So perfectly fine if that continues to go up. Then I've said end of the cycle. I've said late September, early October. If you make me guess, I would say somewhere between 6 and 20 of October. We are not in 20. We are not in 6 or 20 of October yet. Then I said Bitcoin to pump into late March, into the second half of March, first half of April. Then we have a correction. I actually said, I'm just reading it now. I said mini correction in January. Oh, guess what? We had a mini correction in January. You see, this is why I wrote down the predictions, because otherwise I would forget. So mini correction in January. I actually put it here. Then I said pump into late July, August, into October. Bitcoin tops, sells off, pumps in November, but doesn't make a new all-time high. Then I said first altcoin season in the first quarter, maybe going into April, a little bit of May. Second altcoin season in quarter 4, maximum January 2026. I would say ETH tops 2 to 3 weeks after Bitcoin. And by the way, so these were the top 4. Now I'll tell you what I was wrong. There was one prediction I wrote it down. I actually have a video about this, quite a lengthy video. So I said actually number 5. Now this is much less relevant. So I've said the top 4 are these that are by far the most important. Now the bottom 8. A meme coin, not Doge, will hit $100 billion market cap. And I said possibly Pepe. But I said the meme coin, not Dogecoin, will hit $100 billion market cap. Wouldn't it be funny if it's Trump coin? We'll see. It would be funny. Then I say stocks will make a top in late October, early November. We're still not there. 7, Fed will cut rates more than everyone believes, and CPI will come down as they cut rates. And I said either they're gonna cut more often or they're gonna cut more than what people expect. Not 25 basis points, but maybe 75 or something. Then I said TLT will finish 2025 above 100, and the Dixie will finish the year below 98. Consensus price for Bitcoin will be close to $1 million And there's going to be starts of a narrative that Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. That's number 9. Number 10, when measuring from November 2024, Ethereum will outperform Solana. Then 12, gold will be below $2,200 before the year end of 2025. And this one was the one that I got wrong, number 11. And I've said this in a long time. Ethereum will be above 5K by mid-January. Completely wrong. Number 11 is completely wrong. Other than that, the other 11 have not yet happened yet. In fact, the only thing that has happened here was my prediction number 3, where I said mini correction in January, which is exactly what we just had. But I was completely wrong on Ethereum to top 5K by January, by mid-January. Yeah, I was completely wrong. I've made like 3 or 4 videos since, and this is something I bring up on basically every single video that I make. Now, once again, the top 4 predictions, if I get those correct, and I got all of the others wrong, I'm going to be an extremely happy man. I'm going to throw a party here. I'm going to go crazy. It's going to be wonderful. If I get the bottom 8 correct, which I'm not going to get because one of them was the Ethereum 5K, but let's say that I got the bottom 8 correct and the top 4 wrong, I'm screwed. I'm not happy at all. Most likely, I could have made a lot of money and I made a fraction of it. Then I said, I have 3 targets for this bull run, which is have enough money so I don't have a mortgage anymore. Number 2, I hold some big market. Michael, let me just let you know this. You're right on something. I was completely wrong on prediction number 11 on Ethereum. Like, completely wrong. I've said this in like 4 videos in a row. And I will probably keep on saying it. I remember the day that we turned 16th of January 17, I made a video and I said, before I even say anything, I was wrong about Ethereum. It was like the first thing that I said in the video. Rotate from high market cap coins to small market cap coins. You see, if I tell you that, I'm basically giving you financial advice. What I do is, but he was, but ADP, he was right about something. I was wrong about Ethereum. Like, there's no question about it. But I take no responsibility because I take no credit. You see, when I'm right about stuff, I don't say, hey guys, give me some money, because I told you this and now the coins went up. Wonderful, right? Give me some money. Pay me for doing this. Oh, by the way, join my Discord and you can copy my trades. I never say any of this. There's a reason why I don't do it. Actually, back in 2023, when I predicted the whole stock market and I predicted the top in oil to the day, and I picked these coins that have done more than 100-fold, more than 100x returns. Actually, Andy did 150x and Hoppy did 140x. I could have come here and basically try to shield that in order to get something from you, which I don't. I mean, Cindy Lou just gave me very nicely $10. And I advised her, please, next time, $10 is way too much money. Please use that money to invest in yourself. How many crypto YouTubers do you see doing this? How many? How many crypto YouTubers say, please don't give me super chats? Or people have asked me, can I join your private group? There's no private group. And there's never going to be a private group. If you have questions for me, ask me and I will answer. When it comes to rotation from big market cap coins to small, I don't know. The whole market. No, I'm predicting about Ethereum because the altcoins move afterwards. Of course, if Ethereum doesn't pump, then the other coins are less likely to pump. You can have some pockets of things going up here and there, but in general, and you see this on the others versus BTC. It's been bleeding versus BTC. And I was wrong about Ethereum. There's no question about it. I've lost no money in this correction because I haven't sold in this correction. The same way that I made no money when it go up, unless I sell and I actually get my profits in my bank account or in stable coins, I never win or lose. I'm up and down depending on the day. So I would be very concerned if this was happening in, for example, October 2025. Then I would be very concerned. But since it's not, sure, it can be okay. Let's say that Ethereum. Okay, let's explore this idea. Let's say that Ethereum, instead of hitting 5K mid-January, let's say it hits in the last week of February. In the great scheme of things, what is the big difference? None. As long as I don't day trade, I'm not gonna struggle. As long as I don't go in on leverage, which I haven't, and I've explained here 1,000 times why leverage is so dangerous, does it really make a difference to me? Now, if I say Bitcoin is going to go to somewhere between 242,000, 276,000, and then it goes to 120,000, now that's a big deal because I'm completely off. But let's say it goes to 285,000, 285. Is that a big difference? No. What if it goes to 241? Is it a big difference? So that's what I'm trying to say. I'm never going to get, I mean, there are things that I get to the day almost. Like, for example, when we had, when I had when Peter Schiff made a post about Ethereum, I came out and I said, I'm pretty convinced that that's the bottom, the local bottom for Ethereum. And it was on that day. I think we hit $2,920 and we just went straight up from there. So I think most likely that was the local bottom for Ethereum. Now, let's say that it wasn't, and it's in 2 days' time. But then we are in 5K in March. Does it really make that much of a difference? You see, that's the point. It's important to understand when you predict something, and I do it mostly for fun, there are things that have grading importances. So they have different levels of importance. You have very important things, and you have less important things. So let's say that I get the crypto predictions in the top 4, but TLT ends the year at 97. Does it really make a big difference in my life? No, other way around. What if the crypto market doesn't behave at all as I expect, but TLT is at 101, and I was right on TLT? Which one do you think I prefer? To be right on TLT or to be right on the other one? The other one, of course. So it's the same thing. So in terms of rotation, look, what I've done, this is my experience, this is what I've done, is I've made an assessment during the bear market about which ecosystem had a good probability to give me 50, 60 fold. So I don't need 500 fold, 600 fold in many of my coins. If they do a 50 fold, 50, 60 fold, I'm perfectly fine. I've reached my objectives. And then what I did was I had 10% in what Somi has called lottery tickets. So things that I think have a good narrative, have a good community, and I try to basically find good prices when that happens. So basically, let's say a coin did well, the community is growing, number of users is growing, it's a clear narrative of the cycle, the number of holders are growing, the number of Telegram users is growing, the number of X followers is growing, and the price is down 95%. I'm willing to drop a lottery ticket that doesn't affect my life. So basically, if that goes to zero, sure, I lose $750, whatever. I'm not going to live under the bridge. I'm not going to sell my house or my car or my everything to pay for that. Like, yes, it will not be nice, but if I'm right, it's going to go up 100-fold. That's what I do. To 50x on Pulse, I would say around where we are now. If we would do a 50-fold from here, I'm very okay if that happens. It doesn't really matter which coin. Now, do you feel frustrated? Yes. By the way, I said Michael. I don't think your name is Michael, so I apologize. I apologize. I just noticed, but it comes in very small letters here, so I misread you. Look, I also feel emotional, so don't think that because what I can do is this, and this is always the rule that I've taken. I understand that during a bull market, altcoins or meme coins or both can go down up to 85% or so. During the bull market, do I like opening my Rebbe wallet or whatever and seeing down 85%? Do you think I go whoo crazy and I have a lot of fun? Don't you think I get nervous and then I start doubting myself? Of course. You see, you need to understand, when Andy went to $320 million, I had, from an $800 investment, I had more than 100K in that coin. I saw it drop to 20K. So it went from 120K to 22K. I felt like an idiot. So it went from 320 million to $48 million. That's an 85% drop. Then, as soon as it touched 48, in about a month and a half, it was at $360 million. So it made a new all-time high. Now I was happy again. Now you ask me, why didn't you sell? Okay, what if it had gone to $1 billion? Then I would feel stupid for selling. What I can say is this: when the sell-offs happen, I say, okay, did we have sell-offs in January 17 and 2021? Yes, we did. I think in January 2021 we dropped 30+% on Bitcoin, by the way, 35 or something like that. Was ever a good decision to sell crypto in the year of the halving? No, it's never been a good decision. So I didn't. And until I see something break the cycle, I have no reason to think the cycle is different. You see, I try to be cute. If I look at the previous cycles, Ethereum was more likely to break 5K around February, March than December or January. But I thought it was going to be front run a little bit. So I tried to be cute and I predicted Ethereum at 5K. It went to 4,300, but that was it. But I looked back and I said, if I just get my mouth shut and I haven't tried to be cute and tried to say that this time this part of the cycle was going to be different, I would have been right. If I just said before the end of March, Ethereum will be above 5K. If I said that, I would probably be right. But I tried to be a little bit cute and I got screwed. And I was wrong. And I came here and said, I was wrong, of course. And Ethereum touches everything else. Think about a coin like Chainlink. Chainlink has had nothing but good news. I don't remember the last time Chainlink had a bad news. I really don't. However, if you look at the price action, it's not great. Now, it's better than Ethereum, for example, but it's not great. And the reality is because it's linked to Ethereum. Now, what I try to think is, okay, who's buying Ethereum? Larry Fink, who, if he was a country, he would be number 3 in the world in terms of wealth, BlackRock, right? And Trump. Both are buying Ethereum. BlackRock was saying, Larry Fink was saying, that he wants the SEC to approve the tokenization of securities and bonds. Which chain, if he managed to get that approval, which chain do you think is going to pick? The layer 2 chains, which have massive centralization risks. WorldCoin. I have no idea, man. I have no prediction about it. Like I'm humble to say when I don't know, I don't know. I mean, I suspect at some point all the coins will do well. I mean, including scams. I mean, at least historically, that's what's happened. You get to a point. How did I find Big Butt on base? Yeah. So what happened was, let me finish something. So if BlackRock really manages to go and tokenize the securities and the bonds as they want, do you think they're going to go for layer 2s? which have massive concentration and massive counterparty risk, because they can turn off the entire thing very, very easy. Do you think they're going to go for Solana, which has outages and stops working once a month? Do you think they're going to go for BNB, who's headed by one of the most hated people from the West, which is CZ? I think they're going to go for Ethereum. I think that that's eventually the plan. So that's why they keep on accumulating. I mean, BlackRock keeps on buying it, and you look at World Liberty Financial from Trump, buying it. Maybe they know something that I don't. I don't know. I'm willing to be on the side of the people that have more money than me. That's it. Now, when it comes to Dickbutt, so I was searching a bit for a new lottery ticket. And I looked on Base, Solana. My issue with Solana is most of the coins don't last an hour. So they go from launching to being rug pulled within 1 hour. Like, I cannot live like this, man. I mean, because the issues that people talk about, what about Fartcoin? What about this? What about the other? Yes, but for every success, you've had 1 million failures. So I don't like those odds. You see, I like to take something and turn, because the reason why I call it lottery is because it's to some degree gambling. But you can gamble putting the odds in your favor, or you can gamble blindfolded, right? There are two different things. So, as I was saying, I was looking for coins in Ethereum, Base, and then I saw this coin, Dickbutt. I think it was like in the top 30 in the DEX screener in trending. It was on the top 30, right? In terms of volume, I think it had like $1 million in volume. It was, when you go on DEX screener, you have like the trending coins, like top 30. And then what I saw the coin launched almost 2 months ago, which means it's probably not a scam because it's been around enough time to be rug pulled. Then I saw that it had a big pump. I mean, there's nothing special. There have 1,000 coins like that. But then it dropped 80%. I went on Telegram, stayed there for a while, tried to see how people behaved, if there was some excitement, if it's growing, etc. It's difficult to say by the number of users because they send these pennies to everybody. So they have like 250,000 users. No, they don't. They have a fraction of those users, probably around 2,000 to 3,000. That seems to me the more likely number. And then I said, okay, there's still activity, there's still interest despite an 80% drop. So I said, okay, I'm willing to throw a lottery ticket. So number one was looking for a coin. I go for the biggest, let's say top 100 trending, right? On DEX screener. Then I want to see, is it cheap? I mean, when I looked at it, it was like 6 million market cap. I said, okay, it's a bit more expensive than what I like, but it's still cheap. Then I thought, okay, has it been around a long time? Because if it's been around for 3 hours, this can disappear tomorrow. So forget about it. So to me, that doesn't work. Okay, it's been around for almost 2 months. Okay, fine. Then my key is, has it been tested? What I mean by tested is, has it dropped 80, 85, 90%? Oh, it did. Okay, good. I'm willing to take a gamble. Okay, then I go to their socials, their Telegram, Twitter, and I try to see the activity, if any. And if there's sufficient activity, I'll say, I'll take a gamble. That's usually how I do it. Most of the times it goes very well. Sometimes it goes to zero. That's it. I mean, like Dolphy. Dolphy, I sold that with a 66% loss. But once again, I put $500 and I lost 66% of it. But then if I put $500 on another one and it goes up 20-fold, it's already paid all the Dolphys. That's my point. So that's how I do it. I mean, if I see something that I like, that fulfills this criteria to me, I pick it. I give it a go. Sometimes goes very well, sometimes goes very bad. That's the point. But if one or two go very well, they pay for all the others. That's the way that I look at it. Sorry guys, we actually been going on for about an hour and 10 minutes. Have I missed any question? Because I think I had a few questions in the beginning, so I'm afraid I might have missed a few. I've said this before and I'll say it again, by the way. Sometimes the hardest thing to do in crypto is to sit on your hands. It's really, really hard. And the volatility, the reason why crypto goes up so much, the reason why it makes literally millionaires is FOMC. Okay, so you want, what is the question is, do I think they're going to cut rates? Do you think they're going to, what is the question? Sorry, man, I know that you asked before, but I lost it in the middle of the conversation. But I was saying, yeah, sometimes sitting on your hands is very hard. I think I'm gonna laugh if in 3 weeks' time, like Bitcoin's at 125,000. I'll tell you this: there's gonna be a time where Bitcoin's gonna drop to 120k, and people will feel bearish. Trump coin, do you think there's a chance it goes to 100 billion? I think you mean 100 billion market cap. Yes, there's a chance. Of course, there's a chance. I mean, the Trump coin is getting its sell-off like all the other coins that I know. I'm yet to see a coin, except stable coins. I'm yet to see a coin that has never dropped 70% plus. I don't know of any. Trump coin down to 1 billion. Down from 70 to 1. No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know, but CME Fed watches. Yeah, so I think they will probably not do anything to surprise the markets. So I agree with you. I think they may keep the rates. The only way that they wouldn't is if the PCE comes very low. So that's the price consumer expenditure or something. The favorite measurement of the Fed, which obviously they already have it. If you think that the Fed knows about the reports like you and me, you're crazy. Sorry to say that, but it's just a reality. So it depends on how the inflation comes. I think inflation will start beating expectations to the I'm saying to the good side. I think you're gonna have a switch in which people are equating still strong job market or strong job market reports. As we know, the job reports the job reality is much worse than what the reports say. But the point, that doesn't matter. The matter is what the market trades on. So if you start having good job reports and inflation falling, at some point people will think, why are we selling really? Because the job is strong, but the inflation is coming down. We were thinking high job market, high inflation, but this part here is not happening. So I don't know. So I think they will probably keep the rates unchanged unless inflation really comes down a lot in their measurement. I think it's going to be more important the commentary that he makes. So if he turns dovish in the way he speaks, then I think the markets will rally quite a bit. If he comes, we may consider raising rates or something like this, then I think the markets will tank until they figure out that what he said was a lie. I get the feeling that he will be dovish in his commentary. I think if the day starts red, I think probably you have a big reversal to green. That's my expectation. Let's see what happens. I mean, it's day to day. I'm not so concerned about these daily moves. Usually, and you'll understand this as it goes forward, the bond market will allow him to cut rates before it does. So what I mean by this is at some point, the long tenor of we'll do okay, first wave. Yeah, I think they will do well. I mean, I'm not so sorry, but about the FOMC. So that's my expectation. I think most likely he will keep rates unchanged, unless the PCE number is really, really good. Then I think the commentary will be the most important. I get the feeling he will be dovish. I think it will be dovish. Yeah, I mean, Arturo, we had sell-offs in January 17 and January 2021, so it's not necessarily something, oh my God, unprecedented. Particularly in 2021, I think we dropped 35% at some point. We came nowhere close to this. Yeah, this is what I said. I mean, Bitcoin is up 10% on the year. Like, if we actually, rough, yes, I think so. I mentioned here in the video, I said we may hit 110 and that maybe it, at which market cap you may buy Trump coin. I would consider it maybe low 20s, high teens if he gets there. But I don't know, man. I see other things better. I mean, he bought 3 addresses on Ethereum. I get the feeling that he's gonna launch a coin in Ethereum, a new meme coin in Ethereum, probably closer to the end of the cycle. I may be on the lookout for one of those. But I do think you're gonna see meme coin going above 100 billion. Not Dogecoin. I've said excluding Dogecoin. And I'm not saying that Dogecoin is not gonna head to 100 billion, but I mean, when I made the prediction, Doge was already like 65 billion. So I'm not gonna make a prediction like that because it's a bit soft. But I think one meme coin will touch, or at least one. I mean, maybe more than one. But I think some of them will go to above 100 billion. It would be fun if it would be Trump coin. So that's one of my predictions. But that's only really relevant if I'm in that coin, or at least in the narrative, or still in the narrative. Yeah, I mean, I just find it funny, right? Which is everybody's so stressed out, and I'm like, do you understand that if we have 12 months of the performance that Bitcoin and the US stock market have, we're gonna see 20% up S&P and Nasdaq and now Dow Jones, and we're gonna have 120% Bitcoin, which would put it. So if you do 98 times, which was when it started the year, if you well, how much was it? 96. If you do 96 times 120% or 140%, do you get above 220k? Would you be happy with that? I would. So that's the point. If basically all the months from now on would be like January, you would have Bitcoin close to 230k. That's the fun, and everybody's so bearish. This is the funny. This is what PTSD looks like. They really remember 2021, and unfortunately, a lot of them will sell very early because of that. And a lot of them are selling right now, and then they will become rage buyers at the end, which is going to be very, very dangerous for them. And I really feel bad. And probably next cycle, people will expect the best again, and maybe we have a closer to 2021 cycle, and we'll catch people off guard. I don't know. That's too much into the future. There's no point in dwelling on that. Yeah, I think RH coins. I think they will do well. But let me see here. How many X's do you think X tickers will do? Look, I think this is what I'm going to say. I think RH tickers will do probably a 50x from here. I mean, that's what I think. I mean, you shouldn't trade on it. You shouldn't take me seriously. I'm a random guy on YouTube with a mask. This is what I believe. What I think can happen, or there's a good chance of happening. Yeah, by the way, this is something important. There's no guarantees. If somebody comes on YouTube and tells, oh, I guarantee that this is going to happen, that person is lying in your face. And if they're lying, it's because they want something from you. Never forget, nobody can come here and guarantee anything. Because if Trump dies tomorrow, if Trump comes and says, actually, we're going to put all this crypto stuff on hold, we're going to look at it in 2027. Anything can happen, right? I mean, I don't know. These things I don't know. So you just try to tilt the odds in your favor. That's the most you can hope to do, in my view. That's the ultimate thing you can do. Yeah, so I mean, I'm positioned that if it does a 50x, I'm already very, very well. If it does more than that, great. I mean, to me, 1,000, 5,000x, whatever. The more, the merrier. But I'm positioned in a way that if it does 50 to 70 fold, particularly if even 50 is already very, very good. I will already be very, very happy if that happens. Yeah, but I think we need some things also to go in our favor, and I think it will happen. I mean, it's crazy when I think about it. You have a president who is pro crypto, SEC that's going to be pro crypto, Treasury that's going to be pro crypto, The vice president owns altcoins. The president launched a meme coin. I mean, if I would go back in time, 12 months, and I told you that these things were going to happen, you would laugh in my face. Completely say, this guy's completely crazy. Maybe it's time to bring him to Bellevue, the psychiatric hospital. It's time for this guy to drop the pipe. Whatever, this is what you would tell me. That this guy is complete lunatic. Now, I'll finish on this because I think it's very important. Fundamentals precede price. How much weight are you putting in this DeepSeek news? Not much, to be honest. I've covered that in the beginning of the stream, if you want to follow it. I mean, I said, look, I like 50x seems much. Not necessarily. Cardano hit $100 billion. Even today, as 20% of the, or 25% of the volume of Pulse Chain, and it hit $100 billion before it even had smart contracts, and it was advertised as a smart contracts platform. So anything is possible. I mean, BNB hit 100 billion. I mean, you have so many coins that hit 100 billion. If it goes from 700, so 700 times 10 is 7 billion. 7 times 5 is 35 billion. 35 billion is 35% of Cardano's top in 2021 without having anything, basically. Can't we make 35% of Cardano top of 2021? Is it that unrealistic? I don't know. I think there's a good chance. But maybe you're right, huh? Maybe it doesn't. I mean, who knows? And then I'm screwed. If that happens, maybe one of my lottery tickets can save me, but it's not going to be the RH ecosystem. That is true. I mean, of course, I'm trying to tilt in my favor. And MD a bit is very difficult because it's very difficult to predict that because it assumes no selling. You can say we need, for example, we need $100 million for the coin to go up tenfold. I'm just throwing a number. I haven't made the calculations. But let's say that you need $500 million for the coins to go up tenfold. Yeah, but what if somebody is putting 400 million of selling pressure on the other side? But what if it creates a lot of FOMO and now we have 2 billion of buying pressure and the billion of net? You see what I mean? There are moving parts. The only way you could really tell is, okay, we stop the buying and selling right now, we deploy all the funds. Yeah, sure. Then it goes up. Then you need, I think, maybe 600 million I think you need 1.7 billion to make all the RH stickers go up 20-fold. So that's what I'm saying. Sorry, what was the question? Can Boppy go to 50 or 100 million market cap? I think it depends on how I can Hoppy go. I think there's a chance. I think 50 is not that outside of the realm of probability. Even 100 is not that crazy. But I would say 50 is obviously much more likely. It will all depend on the community. If they start giving up, no. It's really that simple. It's a meme coin. So it's all about community is the asset. So it depends on how strong the community is. I think it's quite strong. At some point, Boppy with the B was below 100K market cap, and it went all the way up to 3.2 million or something. Then it sold off to the lowest, I think, was 400K that I've seen. And now it seems to be trying to come back a little bit. So we need to see. The community will decide. In terms of AI narratives, dead after DeepSeek. Look, DeepSeek, I've covered this in the beginning of the video, but I will finish on that. I think DeepSeek, if it works as advertised, is great for mankind. Crypto is an asset of mankind. It's not a US asset, let alone it's not a US tech asset. I get the point of Somi because we have this memory of the Chinese government screwing the bull market in 2021. But I mean, at that time they said we are banning Bitcoin. I mean, that is a direct hit on crypto and a very aggressive one. DeepSeek has nothing to do with crypto. I think a lot of people sold because that was the only market that was open. So they sold what they had. to sell. I mean, it's really that simple. And I mean, this is a new industry, and there's a high-tech industry, which means pricing and competition will be very, very high. At some point, you're going to look back and you'll see, oh my God, the first beginnings of AI were so rudimentary, it's complete garbage. Think about cell phones. I mean, do you remember? I still remember, I don't know how old you guys are, but I remember those bricks, that you had to pull down, weighed like 2 pounds, and you had to pull an antenna out, and you had to call people, and then within 10 years, your phone could do everything. And you're like, oh my God, you remember? And they cost the same. So basically, the old phone and the new phone cost more or less the same, but the new phone does 100 more things than the other phone did, and everything was free and a fraction of the price. I mean, you need to understand that there was a time, 30 years ago, where international calls would cost you $2 a minute. Think about it. You would call someone in a different country, and it would cost you $2 a minute. Now you can have a video call for free. Think about how big the development is, and in such a short time frame. I mean, I think AI will happen the same. So if DeepSeek forces the other ones to be more efficient, the better for mankind. Productivity goes up, right? Which eventually will benefit everybody. Maybe it's not great for a NVIDIA. Maybe it's not great for a Google in the short term. Who cares? Who cares? They can take it. I mean, they're not this. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, people keep making the comparison to the tech bubble. This is the problem. Tech bubble, you have companies that were PowerPoint presentations. That's it. They had nothing. They just, they would create a website, go public, raise $1 billion, and that's it. That's finished. That's how it got. Nowadays, the bigger drivers of AI are companies that have more money on cash on balance in their balance sheet. They have more cash than countries' GDPs. I mean, you're not talking about the same players. Of course, you have the smaller players, the niche players, the companies that will never stop being a PowerPoint presentation. That's all true, but it's not to the same degree as it was in the tech bubble. And also, you have the currency debasement. And you have the money printing. And let me finish on this because this is very important. You remember when those banks went bankrupt back in 2023? The Silvergate, was it Silvergate and the SVB, the SoftBank? And the Fed was in the middle of QT, of doing quantitative tightening, and then those banks go bankrupt. There was going to be some contagion. The Fed comes out and drops $800 billion in the market during the weekend, during the time they were fighting inflation. And within 2 days, they drop 800 billion. This is how it's important. During the financial crisis, it took the Fed 18 months to approve and to start deploying $1 trillion that were approved to bail out the banks. $1 trillion. This time, and there was no inflation, actually there was deflation at the time. And this time around, in the middle of high inflation, they deploy 800 billion, 80% of the $1 trillion, over the weekend, in 48 hours. 18 months, 48 hours. So yes, that's why I'm not so much concerned about it. As I've said before, fundamentals have very little to do with stocks anymore. So I mean, look, markets get priced for perfection. So this is the perfect example. Market was priced for perfection. Then Powell comes in December, makes a few statements. The markets need to adjust. It's no longer priced to perfection. So it comes down. Then other things start happening and they start pricing in perfection once again. Then something happens, it breaks the perfection, so you come down. Same thing happens in the upside. So let's say you have the stock market going like this, and now something positive happens. Example, no more income tax. Example, stopping the war in Ukraine. All of a sudden, we were priced for perfection, taking into account the external conditions, but now the external conditions got better. So now they price up. So they price perfection again, until something bad or good happens, and they need to reprice for perfection once again, or for imperfection. or in the case of a downside. So let's say, I don't know, there's a big warning with a few important companies, or there's a bank who's struggling or whatever. Then the market digests the information, overreacts because it's a pendulum. So the market goes all the way to one side, then it corrects all the way to the other, where the fair value is probably somewhere here in the middle. It corrects all the way to this side in panic, starts thinking, digesting, and starts moving to the other side and pricing in again. That's it. That's all that happens. But that's not very exciting, you see. Then I cannot sell you courses about it. I cannot sell you private watch lists. You see, it doesn't go very well on YouTube for a marketing tool. Then I cannot give you these endless coupons, so you can trade like me, stuff like this. So that's why you don't see this covered on YouTube. It's not sexy. You see, if I come here, if any YouTuber comes in and says, I predict the stock market will go around 10%, this year will go up around 10%. That person over a decade will be right 80% of the time. However, it will get no views because he's not making a connection between that and the planets being aligned on the 27th of February, or because the grass is yellower this time of the year in Oklahoma. So that means that stocks are going to go down. He's not making all those connections. So he will be right more often than almost any other YouTuber, but he won't sell anything and he won't have any views. It's just the reality of YouTube and the finance in general. I mean, think about the most famous guy in finance, Jim Cramer. Complete clown, always wrong. The more wrong he is, the more followers and more money he gets. That's how it works. And guys, we've been going for about an hour and a half. I think I've answered all the questions. If I didn't, I apologize. Drop me something on the comment section. I'll try to follow up. Thank you very much for being here. Don't forget, like and subscribe. That's the only thing that I ask. As long as it's free, I'll ask you to do that. And with that, I'll let you be, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate your support. And I guess I'll catch you in the next one.